When life wants to balance its scales, it doesn't ask for permission. The universe has a way of folding every intention back to its sender, like a mirror that never forgets a reflection. Those who scatter thorns in your path always end up walking barefoot through their own garden of spite. It's poetic justice disguised as coincidence. Critics, haters, and silent observers who clap for your downfall never realize that their obsession becomes their undoing. Every attempt to dim your light only exposes how addicted they are to your glow. That's the law of cosmic balance. Energy never disappears, it simply changes direction, and when they aim it at you, it circles back twice as sharp. You, the chosen one, are not haunted by their envy. They are haunted by your evolution. Every move you make, every storm you endure, becomes an alarm in the mind of those who tried to bury you. You are their unfinished lesson, the proof that no plot against purpose ever wins. Their schemes become stepping stones, their whispers become echoes beneath your rise. The universe itself rearranges to protect those aligned with truth. Your growth terrifies them because it exposes the limits of their illusion. And remember this, the same energy they used to curse you is now working overtime to crown you. Watch how their chaos turns into your clarity, their attacks into your applause. You're not just surviving, you're becoming the very karma they tried to escape. If you're ready to rise above the noise and claim your alignment, hit that like button, subscribe, and step into the frequency where success becomes your silent revenge. Before we dive deeper into what you're about to hear, take a second and center yourself, because this isn't just another message. It's a mirror to your awakening. You've just stumbled into the truth that was never meant to reach you. What follows will expose why your life has felt like a silent battlefield and why every shadow suddenly made sense. So pause, breathe, and if this resonates in your chest like you've been waiting to hear it your whole life, hit that like button, subscribe, and drop 777 in the comments to mark your alignment with breakthrough energy. This isn't superstition, it's a signal to the universe that you're done being the target and ready to become the threat. Stay to the end, because the very plot designed to destroy you is about to become the reason you rise. Number 1. Stop calling it bad luck. It was a targeted plot to distract your purpose. The storms that hit you weren't random, they were scheduled. Every delay, every sudden argument, every opportunity that vanished right when things started to move, it wasn't coincidence, it was coordination. The universe doesn't throw dice when it comes to a chosen one's destiny. It moves with intention, and sometimes that intention is to expose the invisible hands that try to steer you off your path. You weren't unlucky, you were noticed. Your energy started burning too bright, and the systems built on your silence felt the heat. They didn't want to destroy you outright. That would make you a martyr. They wanted to distract you, keep you chasing meaningless noise while your real calling sat on hold. That's the oldest trick in existence. Confuse the chosen one with constant motion, so they never realize their stillness was the key all along. Every unnecessary fight, every draining friendship, every false start, it was engineered confusion meant to blur your focus. But you began to see it. You started noticing patterns others dismissed, the same people causing chaos always showing up before a breakthrough. That's not a coincidence, that's a signal. When awareness entered, the game changed. The trap stopped working because you stopped reacting. You learned that not every problem is meant to be solved. Some are meant to be ignored. Silence became your weapon, focus your rebellion. What they designed to break your rhythm ended up sharpening it. The plot didn't fail because they gave up. It failed because you woke up. And now, every scheme meant to block your vision has become fuel for your evolution. You are no longer fighting for peace. You are the peace they can't disturb. Number 2. Don't mistake mental chaos for confusion. It's spiritual warfare in disguise. The war didn't start outside of you. It began in your mind. The moment you started awakening to your purpose, the atmosphere around you shifted. Suddenly, nothing made sense. Sleep disappeared, thoughts tangled, and emotions collided like storms with no forecast. You told yourself it was stress, fatigue, maybe overthinking, but that wasn't confusion. It was interference. You were intercepting frequencies not meant for your peace. The system realized it could no longer control you through people, so it targeted your perception instead. Because once your clarity fractures, your direction follows. Every overthinking spiral, every wave of anxiety, every strange heaviness that arrived for no reason, it wasn't random. It was a distraction dressed as self-doubt. The unseen knows it can't steal your destiny, so it tries to convince you that you're lost. But you're not lost, you're decoding. The chaos is proof that you're crossing into higher awareness. Your old identity is collapsing, and that demolition feels like madness before it feels like freedom. You began seeing through illusions, relationships that felt off, conversations that drained your energy, emotions that didn't belong to you. That's when you realized confusion isn't weakness, it's exposure. The fog lifts the moment you stop running from it and start reading it. Because chaos always hides a pattern, and once you spot that pattern, you break the control. The chosen don't fall apart under mental pressure, they transform through it. What looked like breakdown was your system rebooting. What felt like darkness was data downloading. The war for your mind was never meant to end you. It was meant to train you to think beyond manipulation. You were never losing your sanity. You were gaining mastery. Number 3. Quit explaining your resilience. You're being studied because you can't be broken. They've watched you long enough to know your limits should have collapsed by now. Every setback, betrayal, and storm was recorded like data points in a silent experiment. You were the variable they wanted to predict, the spirit they tried to decode. But every time they thought they had you figured out, you did the one thing they didn't calculate. You rose again. That's why you became the study. You refused to malfunction under pressure. Your calm unnerved them. Your ability to rebuild faster than they could destroy made them question the very logic of their attack. You are the glitch in their program, the living proof that pressure doesn't always produce surrender. It produces precision. They can mimic your habits, steal your words, copy your moves, but they can't replicate your essence. Your resilience isn't a performance, it's an encrypted design. Every time they tried to trigger an old wound, you responded with new wisdom. Every emotional trap they set became a revelation instead of a setback. That's not luck, that's evolution. So stop explaining how you made it through. Stop justifying why you're still standing. You owe no blueprint to those who studied you with bad intentions. Let them wonder how you turned pain into power so efficiently. Let them choke on their curiosity. The more they analyze your endurance, the more they realize it can't be duplicated, because resilience like yours isn't taught. It's born from fire. You weren't just tested, you were tempered. You are the evidence that what doesn't destroy a chosen one upgrades them. They wanted to understand your strength, but the truth is, they built it. Number 4. Guard your circle. Familiar faces are the enemy's favorite disguise. The hardest truth for any chosen one to swallow is that betrayal rarely comes from the outside. It comes smiling, calling your name, wearing the mask of loyalty. Strangers can't reach you. Your walls are too high for that. So the attack adjusts. It enters through proximity. Those closest to you become unguarded doorways, and energy that once felt safe starts feeling heavy. That's not imagination, that's infiltration. The plot against you didn't need force, it needed access. The universe works in mirrors, and sometimes it lets the people around you reveal their real reflection. That's why certain connections suddenly turned cold, conversations shifted tone, and laughter started sounding rehearsed. You weren't paranoid, you were perceiving. They weren't acting strange for no reason. They were reacting to your elevation. Your growth forced their masks to slip. When your energy rises, it exposes what was hiding in comfort. The light of awareness doesn't destroy people. It simply shows who was never aligned with you in the first place. They say, keep your friends close, but that's not wisdom anymore. That's risk. Keep your peace closer. Because the moment you stopped oversharing, over-explaining, and overextending, the sabotage started starving. Manipulation only thrives where boundaries don't exist. Your silence became confusion to those who once read you easily. They can't weaponize what they can't predict. Remember this: not every smile is safety, not every bond is sacred. Some people were never meant to walk with your next level, and that's fine. Let them fade. Your evolution isn't personal, it's protection. Guard your energy like it's royal territory, because it is. The chosen one doesn't lose friends when they rise. They lose access points disguised as affection. Number 5. Refuse to surrender. The real attack aims to make you renounce your purpose. They never truly wanted to destroy you. They wanted to rewrite you. The attack wasn't about your body or your possessions. It was about your conviction. The plot was psychological, designed to make you question the very reason you were born. Every setback, every loss, every moment you sat in silence wondering, what's the point? That was the battlefield. They knew they couldn't take your power, so they worked to make you hand it over willingly. Doubt was their weapon. Fatigue was their disguise. The chosen ones aren't broken by big defeats. They're tested through small, relentless disappointments that chip at faith and identity. That's how the plot operates. Slow erosion of belief until you start to call your own purpose a burden. But here's the truth. Your exhaustion isn't proof of weakness. It's evidence of resistance. The harder they push, the more your existence disrupts their agenda. You're not tired because you're failing. You're tired because you're winning in silence. Every moment you refuse to quit, their system loses power. The same energy designed to make you surrender is the force sharpening your discipline. You're not meant to collapse under pressure. You're meant to transform through it. The chosen don't fall. They evolve mid-battle. So when life whispers that it's too much, stand taller. When chaos surrounds you, stay still. Because your refusal to surrender isn't just survival, it's defiance that rewires reality. Every time you choose persistence over pity, awareness over emotion, purpose over comfort, you're declaring war on the very plot that was meant to erase you. You weren't chosen to escape struggle. You were chosen to expose how struggle collapses when it meets someone who refuses to bow. Number 6. Let pain teach you, not program you. Turn the experiment into your evolution. They thought they could break you by studying your reactions, by turning your life into a controlled experiment of chaos. They pushed, tested, and observed, waiting for the moment you'd collapse under pressure. But what they didn't realize is that chosen ones don't crumble. They mutate. Every wound became data for your transformation. Every betrayal became a download of wisdom their system could never decode. They were so busy watching you suffer, they never noticed you were learning how pain works, how it tries to condition you into submission, how it rewires your focus, how it hides lessons inside destruction. The truth is, pain was never your punishment. It was your professor. It taught you how to detect manipulation before it forms, how to sense deceit before it speaks, how to rebuild faster than they can sabotage. The very suffering meant to silence you turned you into something that can't be silenced at all. You stopped being reactive and started becoming responsive. You stopped asking, "Why me?" and started asking, "What is this teaching me?" That shift alone rewrote your entire destiny. They thought trauma would be your cage, but you made it your classroom. You learned to sit in the fire without losing yourself. You realized that healing isn't about erasing pain, it's about mastering the message it carried. Now, when challenges approach, they find a version of you they can't manipulate. You've become the outcome their experiment could never predict. You are no longer the subject, they are. You've evolved beyond their comprehension. The same energy that tried to program your downfall now fuels your ascension. You didn't just survive the experiment, you turned the lab into your throne. Number 7. Starve the darkness. Hell needs your reaction more than your defeat. Chosen one, here's a truth most never realize. Darkness doesn't thrive on power, it thrives on attention. Every time you explain yourself to people who twist your words, every time you fight battles that exist only to drain you, you feed what was meant to starve. They don't need to defeat you, they just need to distract you. Chaos survives by keeping you reactive. That's why the moment you start rising, distractions multiply. You begin to notice how sudden misunderstandings appear out of nowhere, how small things demand big emotions, how certain people seem to appear only when your energy is at its highest. It's all design, not coincidence. The enemy of your peace can't stand stillness. Your calm is lethal to their control. Every argument you don't enter, every insult you don't answer, every lie you don't chase, that's a victory they can't recover from. Because silence isn't surrender, it's starvation. Darkness feeds on response, on outrage, on the noise of your defense. The less you react, the weaker it gets. You start to see that the war was never physical. It was energetic. You were the source of the power they were trying to harvest all along. When you stop reacting, you stop being a participant and become the observer. And that's where your mastery begins. The same people who once provoked you will choke on their own need for attention. The same energy that used to shake you will now collapse under your stillness. Let them talk. Let them spin stories. Let them perform. You owe them nothing, not your reaction, not your peace. You win by starving the circus. The moment you stopped performing for chaos, darkness began to die of hunger. That's how the chosen ones win, through unshakable composure. Number 8. Rise higher. The plot fails when you outgrow its frequency. Every plan designed to break you was built for an older version of you, the one still tangled in doubt, still explaining your worth to people who already decided to misunderstand you. They built their schemes using outdated blueprints of your weaknesses, but evolution never sends an announcement. While they studied your past, you quietly rose into a frequency they could no longer decode. That's the irony of growth. It doesn't need revenge, it simply becomes unreachable. When you rise in awareness, you stop living where their chaos can breathe. Their insults lose oxygen. Their gossip becomes background static. They keep throwing darts at the silhouette of who you used to be, and none of them land because you're not standing there anymore. Your calm becomes confusing, your silence unbearable. They mistake your peace for passivity, but it's really precision. You're no longer reacting, you're responding on a higher wavelength, and they don't have the equipment to tune in. That's the secret they'll never admit. The war didn't end because they surrendered. It ended because you elevated beyond their reach. When energy ascends, manipulation collapses. Fear, jealousy, competition, those are low frequencies, and they can't survive where clarity lives. You stopped meeting people in conflict and started meeting them in consciousness. You learned to see through noise instead of wrestling with it. Now, every move you make disturbs their system. You've become the silence that echoes louder than their chaos. You've evolved from target to testimony, from reaction to revelation. They can't fight what they can't find. Rise higher, chosen one. The plot already failed the moment you stopped existing on their level. Number 9. Trust divine timing. Truth reveals itself when you're strong enough to hold it. Chosen. 1. Not every revelation was meant to arrive when you first asked for it. Some truths are heavy, too sharp for hands that are still healing. The universe doesn't hide things from you. It hides them for you, waiting for the moment you're no longer fragile enough to be shattered by what you see. You may think certain betrayals took too long to surface, or that the masks fell off too late, but nothing about exposure is random. The truth waits until you've built enough emotional armor to hold it without bleeding. When you were still reacting from pain, the plot against you needed to stay buried, because had you seen it too soon, you might have fought the wrong battle. You might have sought revenge instead of strategy. Timing isn't delay, it's protection disguised as patience. And the moment you stopped chasing answers and started mastering awareness, the truth began walking toward you on its own. Patterns revealed themselves, faces unmasked. Situations that once confused you now looked like clear blueprints of intent. That's not coincidence, that's alignment. Every secret they whispered about you, every lie built behind your back, all of it had an expiration date. You didn't have to expose them, truth did. And when it finally surfaced, you didn't panic, you didn't lash out, you simply understood. That calm, that composure is what destroyed them. Because nothing terrifies those who live in illusion more than the person who no longer needs proof. Trust the timing, chosen one. The universe doesn't rush justice. It delivers it with precision. The same truth that would have broken your old self now crowns your evolved one. You didn't find the truth. You became it. Number 10. Embrace isolation. What feels like separation is actually sacred preparation. Chosen one, the silence around you isn't punishment. It's precision. When the universe wants to sharpen someone for impact, it removes the noise first. The same people who once surrounded you, praised you, or pretended to understand you had to fall away. Not because you did something wrong, but because they couldn't go where your evolution was headed. You were never abandoned, you were being refined. Isolation isn't emptiness, it's a private upgrade. When the crowd disappears, your frequency gets clearer. You begin to hear your own intuition without interference. You start recognizing which connections were authentic and which were simply occupying spiritual bandwidth. Every unanswered call, every friend who drifted, every room you no longer fit in, it all served a purpose. The universe was resetting your environment so your next chapter could echo with power instead of noise. What once felt like loneliness is actually your training ground. In solitude,